guys, how's it going? Today's video is going to be a follow-up on a video I did about a month or two ago, I think, and it was on ways to come up with maps for your novel. Today's video is going to be how to create those maps. If you haven't seen the first video, I'm going to link it above, but in today's video I'm going to be talking about a couple different ways on how to create those maps. Some things to keep in mind before you start making your map is decide what exactly you want from your map. You know, do you want something that's more functional and really clear just so that your readers will know, you know, distances and where in the world things take place? Or do you want it more like an aesthetic thing where you just want something pretty to kind of get into the feel of fantasy? So I always recommend looking at a couple of your favorite maps from maybe some other novels that you liked, or looking online, Google Images, Pinterest, etc. to kind of get an idea of what you like and what'll work well for your novel. But without further ado, let me show you a couple different ways on how I have created my maps. So first, this is going to be the program we're going to be using to make the maps. It's called GIMP, it's completely free. It's basically the free alternative to Photoshop. It has a ton of different tools and options, tons of stuff you can play with, but it's still really user-friendly. So this is going to be the program that we're going to be using today. To get our maps, we're going to go to rolltofantasy.com. I'm going to leave all the links down below. But there are so many different tools and things you can do. Today, of course, we're going to be using the map creator. So here it is. There's all kinds of instructions and helpful stuff, but I'm just going to skip past that today. So this is where we're actually going to be making the maps. If you already know what your map's going to be, maybe you have a sketch of it or an idea of it in your head, you can just make it from scratch, or you can randomize it. Hi, Ripley. So it'd be like this. That's what I'm going to be doing today because it's so much faster, and obviously I don't have a map in my head. I don't like this shape though, so I'm going to be getting another one. Close to what I want. Aha, there we go. That's what I want. I like one big landmass to work with, and a couple little islands. Actually, come to think of it, I don't think I want an island here. So what you're going to do is select the 4 of them here. You're going to scroll up. Now these are all the pieces. So outward corners, inward corners, sides, all of those ones there. We're going to be showing that more in a second. It's very well organized though. We're going to go into land and sea, water, click that, and there you go. Island is gone. We drowned them. Sorry. Now let's say that, you know what, I want this to go down a little bit further. So I'm going to select that there, go up here. So under sides, that is our left side. And now they don't all start and end at the same part. They don't line up perfectly. So I have the smaller one. Is it this one? Yes. All right, so then we're going to click the next one. And now I need a corner piece. So outward corners, this is the bottom left. Let's see, the one that goes kind of in the middle. Is it this one? Perfect. One thing I don't like is that you do have to unselect them. You know what, let's do both at the same time. So the bigger one. So sides, bottom. So now we're going to fill this in. So go under land and sea, under geography, and there we go. Ta-da! All right, now I have the shape that I want. So when I am putting on the drapeable pieces, I like to turn the grid off. So toggle grid, ta-da! And make sure you click enable draggable pieces. It's just going to make it a million times easier. Ow, I just hit my knuckles. So first I want to put the capital city. This one looks like a castle. can make it bigger. Oh, toggle resize. I want my capital to be over here. And now I'm gonna add a few houses because people need to live somewheres. Just to show that people go to the capital. And now that I look at it, the castle looks a little bit too big. So let's get that a little bit closer. Let's move this one. There. I kind of like that. Another thing is I love mountains, so I'm going to do a pretty big mountain range. I think I like this one, kind of a cornerish mountain piece. And of course, we got to make it bigger. You don't have to click on the square every time you resize it. I just find it a little bit easier for me. There, now the capital is shielded by mountains. I'm going to add a couple more things, so I'm going to check in 1 second. Alright, so here is my finished masterpiece. I added some bigger cities and a smaller one, more forests, hills, some grasslands, rivers, more mountains. I love mountains. I didn't bother doing the islands because this is just a random tutorial. I'm not going to go super in detail with it. So now that I'm happy with it, I'm just going to print screen it. I'm going to go into GIMP and paste. Alright, now clearly we don't need all this extra stuff. So we're going to crop it. There. Now, one thing that I always do is I always make another layer. And I'll have this as original. That way, we have the original if something messes up. So Control A, Control C, and paste. There. So what you could do if you're happy with this and this style, you can just go straight to adding words. Oops, it's still on blue. So text box, and let's call this the capital. Obviously that's very small. So I like the look for cursive with them, but let's just go with a very easy font. And the cursive looked better, but that's okay. So you can also change the color of this. I know that the black kind of looks a little bit too bold on the brown. Oops. So let's double click on it. There we go. And let's change it to maybe like dark gray. Yeah, sure. So the thing with these is it stays in its own layer. Now, I never like that, so I'm just gonna Control X to cut it, go to my working on, and paste. And then I'll position it where I want it. Right there. So if you don't like this, I'm just gonna delete the words there. You know how to fill in the rest of the words. Another thing you can do is under, is it tools? No. Filters, edge detect, say, and, which one is the one that I usually like? This one. I'm gonna pull it down a little bit. There. Now, I know this looks weird, so we're going to under color, invert, and for some reason it's blue, so we're just gonna desaturate it to black and gray. So if you like a kind of sketch style map, I really like doing this. I just think that it looks really neat, but it kind of does look funny. So say you like this, but it's too light. I'm gonna go into brightness and contrast and turn the brightness down. There you go. Say you want the water to be blue. Let's pick blue. Let's do this blue. You can color it in like that. That's an option. One thing, I just undid all that, is say you want to actually color it in. So I'm gonna do another layer. I'm gonna call it color. I'm gonna put it underneath here. I'm gonna go to this one and I'm going to get rid of the white. I'm gonna make it transparent. So layer, transparency, color to alpha. It's already set to white. Okay. Oh, we have our original in the background. So when I'm doing this, I always like to have a white backdrop. It just makes it a little bit easier to see. So color that in all white. Perfect. Alright, so let's zoom into the forests. So say I want, that's green forest. I'm in the color layer, and since this one is invisible, I can color in here. It's going to go there. Now when you go outside the lines, it's going to be outside the lines, but you can color it in from there. I'm going to do it real quick. If I was doing this properly for a map, I would get a, better job of it. You can also change your brush size over here. So there, now you can get the tips a little bit better. But because I'm just going to do this quickly, I'm going to stick with this size. Sometimes I find purposely going outside the lines and erasing it a little bit faster than trying to do it perfectly the first time. But that's just me. So there. Now your trees are green. Now let's see. I'm gonna go to this one and I'm gonna get to that blue on here, because if I do it on this one, I don't have lines under it, so it's not gonna, stop the color for the color fill. Alright, now what I can do is go under color and say I want the land to be this color. Why not? So now I can do this. So really I colored in everything that color, but because this color is on top, it only fills in like that. So that's another way to kind of do it a little bit faster. So yeah, that is one idea. I personally don't like coloring my maps individually. I just like the black and gray look a little bit more, but you can do whatever you feel like doing. For the second method, we're going to go to Google Maps. Now I'm going to pick BC because it has a lot of really pretty landscapes. Oops, I don't want this. I'm gonna go to Vancouver Island, because why not? There. Now what I'm gonna do, now I will open this, to menu, satellite, here, or we could do terrain. I don't think it's terrain. Yeah, no, this one I'm not as big of a fan of, so I'm gonna do satellite and labels off. Yeah, I kind of prefer like that. Alright, so same thing. I'm just going to print screen, go into GIMP, paste, and crop tool. I'm just going to crop a little bit more of it because I don't need all of that water. And I'll go up a little bit because I don't want the Google logo. There. So let's just zoom it in to see the whole thing as big as we can. Alright, so for this, a couple different things you can do is you can desaturate it and lighten it up. So I'm gonna go into there. You can also do higher contrast. You can do that kind of thing. Alright, so we can do a similar thing as we did last time. So, layer, new layer. Oh, whoops, I didn't make a backup layer. There. New layer to be working on. This layer is backup. So Control A, Control C, Control V. There we go. All right. So we can desaturate this a little bit if we want. Then we could do the same thing we did last time. Transparency, color to alpha. Get my white layer underneath. And my coloring layer. The white one. There we go. And we can do a similar thing. So I'm going to go to blue. Now I'm just going to use a very big brush for this example. Actually, I prefer to use this one since it's not the fuzzy lines. Another thing you can do is, say you're here, if you put shift, you can make a straight line from point A to point B. Sometimes for outlining, I find that just a little bit faster. Now, I don't like this very much because I think it is way too dark. So let's see if we can lighten that up. Yeah, so that's one way. I'm not as big a fan of this method. Alright, so what we can do is under filters, say edge detect. I know it looks crazy. Colors, invert. Now what we can do is alpha. Oh, I don't want that one, I want the white. And then I'm going to cheat and just turn the color one back on so I don't have to do it again. So this one, it really depends on what your terrain is. So here, like all this part kind of looks a little bit funky, but I like the way that it makes all of this look. So we're just going to go with this one for now. One thing that I like to do is use different map pieces. Now, if you're going to use this for your actual novel, make sure that you get one that is fair for free use, no copyright, stuff like that. These ones, I just had them saved on my computer, so I can't remember, but you can always look into them. When you're looking for them, I always type in fantasy map icons. Make sure you add fantasy, even if it's not quite a fantasy story, because if you just type in map options, or map icons, I mean, it's going to be like hospital signs and museums, and you know what that means. So, okay, copy, move back in here, layer, I want to say icons, paste, that is way too big, yikes. There. So when you're resizing, I always change it to %. I get it roughly the size I want, and then I just pick whatever's number is close to that, and now it's still to scale. So let's do that. And again, we're going to get rid of that white background. There. Now this is going to be nice to have another white one. So let's say I'm going to go with mountains again. So I'm going to use this select tool. You can also just hold it and drag, but I find this one's just a little bit easier for me to control. Whoops. One thing for this one, see, I was accidentally still clicked on icons, so when I pasted it, it's invisible because it was in that one. So what I'm going to working on. Now I think that this map is a little bit too dark for this method, personally. This type of terrain, I should say, isn't the best for this exact method. But the thing I like about this method is if you know, like say you're basing your map off a real place, this will be great because it's, you know, already that place. So I'm gonna do a few more things and I'll check back in 1 second. Alright, I actually just remembered how I made a boulder earlier. I can't believe I forgot that. So I'm on my icons and it's transparent. Control A, select all, Control X, cut, paste, 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 paste. There. You just paste on top of it and it's just making it bolder. So that's how I did it last time. I forgot. Alright, so here is my finished product. I kind of regret making this lighter, but that was before I remembered that I could make these darker. I find maps look better when they have a more like defined edge, I guess, but this is what I came up with. Again, if I was making like a good proper map, I would have spent more time on it and paid more attention, but just for the sake of giving examples, this is what we came up with. So I have my capital here, some cities here, forests, mountains, some grasslands, so you get the point. The thing that I like about this technique is you get so much texture in the land. So this would be good if you didn't want a lot of icons, or if you just wanted to say, let me see actually. So if you just wanted to label, you know, this is this city, this is this city, this is this city, and just put like, you know, a dot on the map or something, I think that this method works really good because I like the way it looks right now, but I like maps with icons, so these two don't necessarily go together, but of course it just depends on which map you use to work with. Now there's also a final way that you can do, and that would be is to hand draw your maps and then put those onto your computer and then use the similar GIMP techniques from there. My scanner is actually on the fritz right now. I guess I could have taken a picture of it and uploaded that to my computer, but honestly that thought didn't occur to me until just now. So that's another thing you can do. And that is all I have for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that it was helpful. I just love maps so much. I would love to see any maps you guys come up with. Feel free to tweet them and tag me on Twitter because I would just love to see them. As always, I will leave that linked down below. And of course, if you guys enjoyed this video, please click the like button so that I know. And feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. I make new videos every Wednesday and Saturday, usually reading or writing related. So I hope to see you guys next time, and until then, have a great day. Bye!